Today I'm going to show you how to get started with scripting in Roblox Studio using variables and if statements, as well as for loops. So we're going to start off by inserting a script into the script service in Explorer, which should be on the right. If it's not, look around your screen to see if it's anywhere. And if it's not on your screen, go into the View tab, top left, and then find Explorer, which is the very first one, and click on it. So now that we have Explorer open in our server script service, which should be one of the icons, we can insert a script. Now that we've inserted a script, we're just going to rename this a simple starter script. And we're going to start off by creating a variable. So a variable can store any data, and in order to make them in Lua, you use local, and then the name of the variable, which we'll just name it X. And then we're going to set its value to 5. So now that we've set that to 5, it's stored. So if we ever put X here, it would still be equal to 5, as that's what we set it to here. Now we can also do print, and then we can do X. And what this will do is it'll print X, and then since X is 5, it'll print 5. So make sure you have the output open at the bottom. If you don't have output open, then go into View again and find Output. It's the first of these three, as you can see, these icons, first of those 3. And now we can click Play. Now, as you can see down here in the output, 5 has been printed. So, now that we've done that, you can change it to 3 or 7 or whatever, and it'll still print whatever number you put. But, now let's start doing basic addition. So we'll do local y equals 3, which will give us 2 variables, 5 and 3, or x and y. And now we'll add them together like this, x plus y. So now it'll add together x and y and print it out. And now you can see we got 8. We can also make it local sum equals x plus y, and then print out sum. This also works. And you'll see 8. Now, you don't have to put spaces between x and the plus and the y, but you can. I like to, but it's really up to you. Now that we've done that, let's do an if statement. So, we're going to get rid of the print for now, and we're going to get rid of that too. We're going to do if x equals 5, then. So basically, we need to do x equals 5. So basically, an if loop, or an if statement, it does if this is true, then it'll run this code. And the reason why we put equals instead of just equals is because equals is for changing a variable to something else. But equals is for comparing two things. So we put if x and 5 are the same thing, then we run this code. And we'll do print x. So let's say our x is 4. As you'll see, it will not print anything because x is not equal to 5. But if we were to change it to 5, it would print x and it would print 5. Now we can change it. Now we can do something where we set it to 10. And we can do if x is greater than 5, then x equals 5. And we'll also do back here print x. So if x is greater than 5, and in this case it's 10, then it'll set x to 5 and it'll print it. So let's try it out. As you can see, it printed 5. If we were to change it to 3 though, since x isn't greater than 5, it won't be changed to 5, which means we'll get 3 printed. Alright, now let's use a for. So in order to make a for loop, you do for, and then you have to make a variable, which we'll name I equals 1, comma 10. Do. So this is a bit complicated, but pretty much we're making a new variable, and to this variable we're not going to use the local because this variable is not going to be a local variable. A local variable, if you were to put a local variable into a for, if you were to put a local variable into a for loop, it would only be accessible from the for loop. And we're going to make this a non-local. But the reason why we're making it non-local isn't actually that. The reason why we're making it a non-local is because it will automatically be set to a local variable in the for loop. And we'll do equals 1, which will set it to 1, and then comma 10. So what the comma 10 means is that it'll keep doing this until I is 10. And automatically, it'll add 1 to I every time we do it. So, if we were to do print I, and make sure you do parentheses, you'll see we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if we were to do an if statement in here, if I is greater than 3, then print I. Then you'd see that at first, when it's 1, 2, and 3, it's not greater than 3. But then, after that, it is greater than 3, so it will print. So that's how a for loop works. And we'll also do while loops, since they're pretty simple. A while loop is like a for loop, except it's a bit different. It still has the thing where if something is true, it'll keep going. But in while loops, it's if this thing right here between the while and the do is true, then it'll keep going. So if we just set it to true, this will be a permanent loop and it'll go on forever. However, if you do set it to true and then put like print E, then it would actually not do anything and it would time out because we don't have a wait here, so it's just trying to do infinite amount of things, which would make it automatically stop. But if you're, so we'll not do while true permanently, but we could do while I is less than 100, while, we'll actually have to set I before, so while local I equals 1, while I is less than 100, do I plus plus, or no, I equals I plus 1, and then print I. And what this will do is it'll print I 100 times, and it'll be 1 bigger every time. And this is similar to what a for loop does, except it's a while loop. So see, we get 100 prints. But yeah, while loops are basically while whatever is here in the center is true, then it'll keep going. A for loop will create a variable, and then if that variable is smaller than the number, then it'll run, and the variable will automatically get bigger by 1 every time it runs. An if statement runs if blank is true, or if like true, then it'll do if whatever here is true, then it'll do the code, and variables will store whatever you want to be stored. So yeah, thank you for watching. And hopefully this helps you start out with simple scripting.